If you had to describe Starkiller Galen Marek in a single word, that word would most accurately be weapon. Taken as a young boy by Darth Vader as his secret apprentice, one of Vader's only hopes in overthrowing his master in Darth Sidious, Galen Marek was trained just to be that. A perfect weapon and killing machine to one day be implemented against the Emperor. His latent force potential rivaled some of the greatest masters of the Jedi Order, even Anakin Skywalker. The reason that Galen Marek excelled so quickly as a destructive force wielder was because this is where he spent all of the time. Much unlike a Jedi or a Sith even, they focus on the greater mysteries of the Force. The Sith has their ultimate goal to dominate and control the entire galaxy, and they evolved and learned that they could not achieve this goal simply by the gifts of the Force. The Jedi, on the other hand, seek to be enlightened by the Force, to learn its deeper mysteries and gain a greater understanding of the universe and galaxy that surrounds and binds them together. Galen Marek, though, has no semblance whatsoever of either of these philosophies. In his heart, Galen Marek wasn't ever even meant to be a Sith Lord or a Sith assassin. He was meant to be an atomic bomb of the Force, a weapon to be used and moved around by the Sith masters that created him and trained him. And this is why he excelled so much. While the Jedi meditated and the Sith attempted to garner power through political means, Galen Marek focused on destroying. He did not need to know the greater mysteries of the Force. This is not the purpose for which he was born. Whenever Galen Marek attempted to tap into the lighter abilities of the Force, he oftentimes struggled. Abilities that a lowly Jedi Knight could achieve, Galen Marek had an exceptionally hard time with. Abilities such as Force Heal or even basic Jedi meditation. However, the gifts and destructive potential of the dark side were literally on the fingertips of Galen. He mastered Force Lightning at an exceptionally young age, which is an incredibly powerful force ability. He used all of the pain and aggression, some inflicted on him by Vader, and some even self-inflicted in order to grow his own power, to not only defeat his enemies, but actively obliterate them. And today, we will focus on one dark side ability, a forbidden one, that is incredibly dangerous and that we have only seen Galen Marek use up until this point. Galen Marek was so naturally powerful in the dark side of the Force, he had a tendency to combine his very lightsaber and the Force abilities into one, using his lightsabers to channel his own Force Lightning, a Force ability that would be incredibly difficult for even a Sith Master, but came naturally to Galen. Galen Marek was such a talented prodigy with Force Lightning that he even rivaled the latent power of Darth Sidious. Darth Sidious is slightly the better of Galen Marek when it comes to the gifts of Force Lightning, as he was able to completely disintegrate his enemies. However, Galen Marek was able to do the exact same thing, and if given time, he absolutely would have surpassed Palpatine with this ability. Palpatine's favorite ability. It is incredibly difficult to use Force Lightning to disintegrate an enemy, with Galen Marek and Darth Sidious being some of the only individuals capable of such a feat. Force Lightning can kill a subject relatively easily, but to completely disintegrate them was something else entirely. However, even this was not the full potential of Galen Marek's Force Lightning. Galen Marek developed his own ability, an ability that only he has ever used, known as Sith Seeker. The description of Sith Seeker goes as follows. Galen Marek claimed that Sith Seeker was Force push brought to its absolute dark side limits. It would entail as an inner feeling, using all of their malice, hatred, and contempt for the galaxy as it slowly built within them, then channeled directly between his fingertips. Slowly, his fingertips would begin to crackle with Force electricity, but unlike most Sith, who would then dispel it into an enemy, Galen Marek let this build. He let the energy channel directly into his hands, as it would then spread through his arms, as the powers of the dark side of the Force that had once been within him were now completely on the exterior, his very body crackling and channeling with dark side energies. But this was not the end. Galen Marek would then slam his hands together, letting the energy build, but now focusing it between his hands, creating a ball of pure dark side energy. Starkiller noted that not only was this procedure extremely dangerous for anyone in the near vicinity, but he noted that it even caused his very body harm, and if he did not release Sith Seeker at the perfect moment, it very likely could disintegrate even Galen himself. The art of Sith Seeker was essentially taking all of the dark side powers within oneself, and then moving it into a single ball of energy. This would of course leave the practitioner weakened and vulnerable. However, once released, it would channel into a single target, obliterating them completely. If anyone were on the receiving end of Sith Seeker, it would absolutely completely disintegrate their entire body. It should also be noted that again, despite Darth Sidious being a master of Force lightning, he did not ever use Sith Seeker, although it very likely would have been forbidden even among the Sith, as it posed just as much of a danger to the utilizer of the ability as it did the one that was on the receiving end. Finally, Starkiller would target a single individual and let all of his malice, hatred, and contempt out on that single person. This does not mean though that the environment around Galen Marek was not also in peril, as even though they were not the direct target of the assault, it would disintegrate enemies that surrounded Galen Marek. Again though, this power did have significant drawbacks, and Starkiller only ever called upon it in very specific circumstances. Not only did the variability itself injure the practitioner, but it also left them exceedingly vulnerable while they were conjuring the ability as well as afterwards. Enemies could freely fire upon the individual, or if they were a duelist, could even directly attack them, as it required the practitioner's sole attention on this one ability, meaning that if they were to break from it after going, say, halfway through, all of the force potential would be exploded onto the one conjuring the power, most likely killing them instantly, or at least gravely injuring them. However, this turned out to be the perfect force power for Starkiller, and is considered to be the uppermost greatest of his limits. But anyway, my friends, and students of the Force, what do you think of our updated video about the Sith Seeker ability? What are your thoughts on the individual that can conjure it in Starkiller? And do you believe that if he wanted to, Darth Sidious could use this force power as well? Or do you think that he would ever want to in the first place, deeming it too dangerous? As always, friends, thank you so much for watching the video and continuing to support the channel. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.